Good day, everybody. I trust that you are well and having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 8 English lesson on pronouns. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username, as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts, which is English, grade 8. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of pronouns. And there is quite a list of lessons under pronouns, but we are not going to be doing everything today. All right, so we see that our chapter is pronouns. Our subject is English language arts, grade 8. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on under the chapter of pronouns is to choose between subject and object pronoun, to identify pronoun and the antecedent, and to use the pronoun that agrees with the antecedent. All right. So when it comes to pronouns, right, and subject as well as antecedents, right, you can use a subject pronoun as a subject of a sentence or a clause, right? And the subject, it tells us who is doing something. And the subject is usually at the beginning of the sentence. All right. So we said that you can use a subject pronoun as a subject of a sentence or even a clause. And it is a subject, right? It tells us who is doing something, and it is usually at the beginning of a sentence. And you can also use a subject pronoun after the linking verb, like am, is, are, was, were, or be. All right. So you can also use subject pronouns after a linking verb. Like we said, like am, is, are, was, were, and to, and be. And subject pronouns, right? Subject pronouns that we will find at the beginning of a sentence are words like I, you, she, he, it, we, they, right? Those are subject pronouns. And we'll basically find a subject pronoun at the beginning of a sentence. All right. If we look at an example, right, it says, after finishing the experiment, I showed my teacher the results. All right. It says, there it says that after finishing the experiment, I showed my teacher the results. In that case, the subject pronoun is I, right? All right. So when it comes to subject pronouns, right, you can also use an object pronoun after an action verb, right? So we said we have a subject pronoun, right, which refers to either somebody who is doing something, right, and it's usually at the beginning of a sentence. And now we have object pronouns. And an object pronoun, right, you can use after an action verb. So you use an object pronoun after an action verb. And you can also use an object pronoun after a preposition. All right. So we said when it comes to object pronouns, right? An object pronoun, we write after an action verb or after a preposition, right? And object pronouns, right, are words like me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. Those examples of object pronouns, right? For example, after finishing the experiment, my teacher showed me the results, which means that our object pronoun, right, me, is used after an action verb, which is showed, right? And my teacher showed the results to me, right? And that means it is after a preposition. All right. So when it comes to pronouns, right, we have subject pronouns and we have object pronouns, right? Subject pronouns, once again, it tells us who is doing something, and it should usually be at the beginning of a sentence. All right. So we say that the subject pronoun, we will find the subject, the beginning of the sentence, right? All right. So we are doing pronouns, and I said that we're going to choose between subject and object and identify pronouns and the antecedents. All right. So we said that we are going to first choose between subject and an object pronoun, which we did. We said subject pronoun, it tells us who is doing something, and it's usually at the beginning of a sentence, whereas an object pronoun, right, comes after an action verb or a preposition. All right. We are going to select the pronoun whose antecedent is Jane Goodall. Jane Goodall. It says, at the age of 23, Jane Goodall took her first trip to Africa. At 26, Goodall returned to Africa to study chimpanzees. Right? So we say that a pronoun is the word that takes the place of a noun or a noun phrase. The noun or noun phrase that the pronoun refers to is called an antecedent. So, for example, Rachel is tired. So we said a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun or a noun phrase. And the noun or noun phrase that the pronoun refers to is called an antecedent. So Rachel is tired even though she slept for 10 hours last night. So in this case, our noun is Rachel. All right, so we say that a pronoun is a word that takes a place of a noun, right? And in this case, it is like we say noun, being a noun phrase. So we say Rachel is tired even though she slept for 10 hours last night. So a noun, Rachel, is the antecedent of the pronoun, which is she, right? Because remember, she is the pronoun and it takes the places of. So our noun, right, is the antecedent of the pronoun that it is taking place, right? Then we have a noun phrase, and the noun phrase is Tom and Sarah just landed. So Tom and Sarah. It is the antecedent of them. All right. So surprisingly, it is my brother's basketball team won all its games this season, right? So the noun phrase is my brother's basketball team, right? And it is the antecedent of its. And we can say that taking care of pets can also be difficult, but it is quite worthwhile. So our noun phrase over there is taking care of pets. All right. And once again, we said Rachel is tired, even though she kept on for 10 hours. So, which means that the pronoun, remember the pronoun, right? It takes the place of the noun, right? So, if you are the noun and we were to write your name doing an action, eventually we would then replace your noun with a pronoun and we will either say he is doing something, right? So that is what I'm saying. A profile, a pronoun, right? It takes the place of a noun. So if we are making mention of you, right, eventually we're either gonna say it is him or let's say he, it's she, right? It's them, they, for example, they, those are pronouns, right? And if you talk about the antecedent, right? Antecedent is like saying that this is the word and its meaning, and then we have the pronoun. And the pronoun of that specific word of the noun is this. That is what we mean. Like, for example, the antecedent of the pronoun that says Rachel, the noun Rachel is an antecedent, is she. Because if we remove Rachel, we can still say she, because she is our pronoun. If we remove the name Jack, then we will still have he, right? All right. And we're saying once again that when we have a specific a sentence with a name and we're doing pronouns, then the antecedent of that specific name or the word is going to be, or the pronoun is going to be either he or it's going to be she, right? Or it's going to be it. Because we will now be, remember, the pronoun takes the place of the noun. So the noun phrase, right, is also an antecedent of the pronoun, which can be them and they and, right, we and us. All right. All right. So we're going to our test now, right? Where we are going to select the pronoun whose antecedent is the seasons. Some people believe that the seasons are caused by the Earth's distance from the sun, but they aren't. Earth's tilt Earth's tilt, not its distance from the sun, determines the seasons. All right, so some people believe that the seasons are caused by Earth's distance from the sun, but they aren't. We need to determine the seasons. All right, and if we were to choose the correct one, we will say the season. Or if we were to select the pronoun, they, which is the seasons. So the they, we're talking about the they, whoever the people are that is talking about the seasons, then we say it's they, which refers to the seasons. In 1970s, no, 1700s, tobacco was so valuable that it was used as currency in many American colonies. Is it tobacco? Is it or tobaccos? All right, so if we were to replace tobacco, right, with its correct pronoun, and then we will say the correct pronoun of tobacco would be it, right? Because remember, we said that the pronoun takes the place of the noun, and that is what we're actually trying to do here in the test, is basically finding the correct pronoun of that specific word. And it's like finding the antecedent, right? It's like finding your antecedent within the sentence. Schooners were once the most important ships in North America, but by 1800 they were only really used for coastal trade and fishing. All right, so schooners were once the most important ships. So if we were to say, if we were to, let's say, replace the word schooners with a pronoun, we would say it is they. Option two, which is they, were once important ships. All right. The Constitution was written in 1787, and its first 10 amendments were added in 1791 to describe individuals' rights in details. Right? We need to now identify the pronoun and the antecedent within the sentence. Right? And if we were to select it, it would be it's the postal trade. All right. So we can say it is it's, which is the constitutions. All right. Oprah Winfrey used the success of her career on television as a television talk show host to launch a magazine and a television network. So now we need to select the pronoun and its antecedent, right? Is it just Oprah Winfrey, right? But if we select it, we're going to select her. Her, which is Oprah Winfrey. All right, so that is correct. So we're going to identify the pronouns and the antecedents now, right? And we see a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun or the place of a noun phrase. And the nouns and noun phrases that the pronoun refers to, it's called an antecedent. All right. So we're going to now a pronoun. We said a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun or noun phrase. And a noun or noun phrase that the pronoun refers to, it's called an antecedent, right? All right. Yeah, it says select the pronoun whose antecedent is the seasons. Some people believe this. Oh, did we do this? Why are we? Let me just see something. That's the same one. All right, so now we're going to use the pronoun that agrees with the antecedent, right? We said a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun or noun phrase, and the pronoun or noun phrase that the pronoun refers to is called an antecedent, and the antecedent must agree with the pronoun, or the pronoun must agree with the antecedent. We have singular pronouns that takes the place of a singular noun, and singular pronouns are words like I, you, she, he, it, me, him, her, his, its, my, and your. Those are singular pronouns, right? And then we have plural pronouns that takes the place of a plural noun or nouns that is joined by a conjunction, the conjunction and. Plural nouns include words like we, you, they, us, them, our, your, and their. All right. So now we are going to, over here, use the pronoun that agrees with the antecedent, right? And we see the pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun or noun phrase. And the noun or noun phrase, right, that the pronoun refers to is called the antecedent. All right. So we said we have singular pronouns and we have plural pronouns, right? Singular pronouns take the place of a singular verb, as well as plural pronouns takes the place of plural verb. All right. We need to complete the sentence with the pronoun that agrees with the antecedent in bold. The element sulfur is a yellow it's a yellow it is a yellow solid at room temperature. When burnt, however, melts into a red liquid. So do we say it or the element sulfurs? So we say the element sulfur is a yellow solid at room temperatures. When burnt, however, it melts. So we can say it, which refers to the element sulfur. It is a yellow solid at room temperature because it's the pronoun. So it is the pronoun. There are thousands of snail species, right? Some of them are used throughout the world as a source of food. All right, and if we select the correct pronoun, we'll say them. Because them boys. When my sister and I went camping with stepdad, he snored so loudly that we couldn't sleep. So we say, when my sister and I went camping with my stepdad, he snored so loudly that we couldn't sleep. So we can say our. Me and my sister is our, right? When Anne and I stayed home on Friday night, did our laundry and watched a movie. So we need to complete the pronoun. All right, and if we choose the correct one, we will choose we. All right, let's do the last one. When Hillary Rodham Clinton was elected to the United States Senate in 2000, became the only first lady to have held national office. We need to now select the pronoun. Is it Hillary Rodham Clinton or is it she? The pronoun, her full name or she. All right, and if we choose the correct one, we will say it is she because that is the pronoun, right? All right, so we say that the pronoun takes a noun, the noun or pronoun takes the place of a noun, right? And nouns can be our name, can be name and surname, but a pronoun can be words like she, ye, them, we, our, right? All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on pronouns and antecedents. Thank you very much, grade 8s, for joining the class. I really hope you're going to have a good evening further. Bye.